Have you ever sat on your porch on a warm summer evening, sipping iced tea, only to realize that your hands and feet still felt cold as ice? It doesn't make sense, right? The sun is beating down, the air is thick with heat, and yet your toes feel like they belong in the middle of a Minnesota winter. I remember the first time I noticed it. I was in my mid-50s, mowing the lawn on a hot July day here in Ohio. My shirt was drenched in sweat, but when I reached down to grab a bottle of water, I felt my fingers and thought, why are they so cold? At first, I brushed it off. Maybe poor circulation runs in the family, I thought. My dad used to rub his legs every night because they felt heavy. But over time, little signs started stacking up. Tingling in my feet while watching TV. A cut on my shin that took weeks to heal. Skin that looked drier than it should, no matter how much lotion I applied. And here's the truth I learned the hard way. Your circulation tells the story of your health. It's not just about cold toes or numb fingers. It's about whether your heart, your brain, your muscles, even your skin are getting the oxygen and nutrients they need to keep you alive and thriving. Today, I want to share something powerful with you. Something I wish I had known years earlier. There are 10 super nutrients that can literally transform the way your blood flows through your body. Nutrients most doctors don't even bother to talk about, but that can make the difference between a life limited by fatigue, pain, and slow healing, or a life where you feel vibrant, warm, and full of energy again. But before we dive into those nutrients, let's take a step back. Let's talk about why your legs and feet are begging for help. Tisa Goichan Vaban Taban Hankyu Siu. Good circulation is like the plumbing system of your home. Imagine if the pipes under your kitchen sink were clogged with grease. At first, the water might still trickle down slowly, but over time, pressure builds, cracks form, leaks happen, and before you know it, you're dealing with mold in the basement. That's exactly what happens inside your body when circulation starts to fail. Blood is the highway of life. It carries oxygen and nutrients to every single cell, and it carries away waste your body no longer needs. Without smooth blood flow, organs suffer, tissues starve, and healing slows down. Now, the lower half of your body, your legs and feet, are especially vulnerable. Why? Because your heart has to pump blood down with gravity and then somehow get it back up again. That return trip is tough. Your veins and arteries need to be strong and elastic, and your blood needs to stay thin enough to flow freely. When that system falters, you start to notice little warning signs. And believe me, those signs aren't random. They're alarm bells from your body. Nung kaithagiwu enti fahoi tan hon. Let me paint you a picture. I had a neighbor, Mike. He's a retired firefighter, tough guy, never complained. But one day, we were grilling burgers in the backyard, and he confessed he'd been having cramps in his calves every night. He thought it was just old age. Turns out, his cholesterol levels were sky high, and his arteries were narrowing. See, high cholesterol is like pouring cement inside your pipes. LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, sticks to the walls of your arteries, forming plaques that harden and narrow the passageway. Suddenly, blood has to squeeze through like cars stuck in a traffic jam. The result? High blood pressure, fatigue, and in the long run, heart attacks or strokes. Now here's a number that shocked me when I first read it. For every 1% drop in cholesterol, your risk of heart disease drops by 2%. That's huge. And the crazy part, certain foods can actually help remove cholesterol that's already stuck in your arteries. Imagine scraping years of build-up off the walls of your veins just by adjusting your diet. But cholesterol isn't the only villain. Let's talk blood pressure. When your blood pressure swings up and down like a roller coaster, it's like turning your garden hose on full blast, then shutting it off, then blasting it again. Over time, the hose weakens, cracks, and leaks. High blood pressure makes your heart work overtime, wearing out your arteries. Low blood pressure, on the other hand, starves your organs of oxygen. I'll never forget my Aunt Carol, sweetest woman you'd ever meet. She used to get dizzy spells at the grocery store. Everyone thought it was low blood sugar, but it was actually her blood pressure dropping to low. It took months before doctors caught it. By then, her circulation had already been compromised. And then there's genetics. Maybe you've got a family history of varicose veins or high cholesterol. It doesn't mean you're doomed. It means you need to be extra vigilant. Think of it like inheriting an old house. The foundation may not be perfect, but with the right care and maintenance, that house can last for generations. Nung tin hai bayong si the banhangi. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked down at your skin and noticed it looked different? Maybe flaky, cracked, or just dull. That's not just dry weather. Sometimes, that's poor circulation. Without enough blood delivering nutrients to the skin, it starts to lose life. Or maybe you've felt that pins and needles tingling in your hands or feet. It comes and goes, so you ignore it. But guess what? That's your body screaming for attention. It's telling you blood isn't reaching where it needs to. And in some cases, that tingling can be an early sign of diabetic neuropathy. And here's the scariest one, slow healing wounds. If you've ever had a cut or sore that just wouldn't go away, that's a red flag. Without good circulation, your body can't deliver oxygen and nutrients fast enough to heal. That's why people with diabetes often struggle with ulcers on their feet. Some wounds even lead to amputations. I don't say this to scare you. I say it because I've seen it firsthand. My neighbor's brother ignored a sore on his foot for months. By the time he went to the doctor, infection had set in. He lost 3 toes. Imagine how different his story might have been if he'd understood the importance of circulation. Li ho, tendi dungcht ko the thay ji kwok ji jiban. Here's the good news. You don't have to sit back and accept poor circulation as part of aging. You don't need to resign yourself to cold toes, leg cramps, or wounds that won't heal. Because nature has already given us 10 powerful nutrients that can literally transform your blood flow. These aren't magic pills. They're not expensive drugs with side effects. They're natural compounds, some found in everyday foods, others available as safe supplements that strengthen your blood vessels, thin your blood just enough to prevent clots, and give your circulation the boost it's been begging for. In fact, some of these nutrients are so effective, studies show they can rival medications in their ability to unclog arteries, stabilize blood pressure, and improve blood flow in just weeks. So let me walk you through them, one by one, starting with a nutrient that might already be sitting in your kitchen pantry. Sudidung number 1 vitamin A. Tntm Kyun Vn Hunbo Vm Sichma. Picture this. Free radicals are like tiny sparks flying around inside your body, burning holes in your cells, weakening your blood vessels, and making your cholesterol go rancid. That rancid cholesterol sticks to your arteries like old grease on a frying pan. Vitamin E is the firefighter that puts out those sparks. It's a powerful antioxidant, which means it protects your cells from damage. But more than that, it keeps your arteries smooth and flexible, so blood can glide through easily. It also reduces the risk of clots, those little time bombs that can block blood flow and cause strokes. Where do you get it? Almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach. A handful of nuts or a bowl of leafy greens can literally coat your blood vessels with protection. And here's the kicker. Clinical studies show vitamin E can cut the risk of clot formation by 30% in people prone to circulation problems. Imagine that 3 out of 10 clots gone just from something as simple as adding a handful of seeds to your salad. But let's move on to one of my personal favorites. A nutrient that doesn't just protect your blood vessels, it actively pushes your blood through them like a natural pressure pump. Sudidung number 2 T. May BM height APT 9 Engay Trong. BNP. If you grew up in an American household like mine, you probably remember the smell of garlic sizzling in butter on spaghetti night. Back then, I just thought it made the sauce taste good. Little did I know, garlic was doing so much more. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which relaxes and opens up blood vessels. It's like turning a 2-lane road into a 4-lane highway. Suddenly, blood can move faster, easier, with less resistance. It also lowers cholesterol and blood pressure, 2 of the biggest villains we just talked about. I started eating 2 cloves of garlic a day, sometimes raw, sometimes roasted, and within weeks, I noticed a difference. My legs felt lighter after long walks. My blood pressure, which used to hover in the 140s, dropped closer to normal. And the best part, garlic is cheap, it's natural, and it doesn't come with the side effects that many prescription drugs do. Now, I know what you're thinking, garlic breath, but let me ask you this. Would you rather have a little garlic on your breath or clogged arteries that threaten your life? Sudidung number 3, vitamin C. Gizai dung yong mch mob hang bien quen. You know how your mom always told you to drink orange juice when you had a cold? Turns out, she was onto something much bigger than just immune health. Vitamin C is essential for making collagen. Collagen is like the scaffolding that holds up your blood vessels. Without it, your veins and arteries lose elasticity. They get weak, they sag, and circulation slows to a crawl. But when you've got enough vitamin C, your blood vessels stay strong and flexible. Your arteries don't tear as easily, and your body can repair itself faster. Now here's something fascinating. Studies show that combining vitamin C with bioflavonoids, plant compounds found in citrus fruits, boosts its effectiveness by up to 60%. So that glass of orange juice or slice of grapefruit, it's not just refreshing, it's literally rebuilding your arteries from the inside out. And don't forget, vitamin C is a potent antioxidant too. It keeps your cholesterol from oxidizing and sticking to your artery walls. Could it be that something as simple as a bowl of strawberries or a bell pepper salad is the missing piece in your circulation puzzle? Remember how I told you about feeling cold in my hands and feet even in the summer, and how sometimes I would gasp for air just climbing a few flights of stairs? Well, that's not just my story. As I sat in the little cafe outside of town, I noticed something interesting. It seemed like everyone over the age of 55 had a story about something wrong with their body. Some complained of pain in their calves when they walked. Others said that just standing up quickly made them feel dizzy and ready to collapse. An old friend of mine, his name is George, had been a carpenter all his life. He was healthy, skilled, and never complained. But about 2 years ago, George called me, his voice trembling. "Bill, do you ever feel like you have ants crawling up your legs? You know, not painful, but numb. I don't know what's going on." This is one of the classic signs of poor circulation. When the blood doesn't carry enough oxygen and nutrients to the nerves, they start to speak up. And the scary thing is, many people ignore it, thinking it's just old age or sitting too long. Sign number 4, numbness, loss of sensation, ants crawling under the skin. Think about it. If your feet start to tingle, or your hands sometimes feel like they're asleep, it could be a warning. The nervous system is like the electrical wiring in a house. If the current blood isn't strong enough, the light bulb's nerves will flicker, then slowly go out. I've seen George struggle with holding a hammer, and then even tying his shoelaces becomes difficult. Don't wait until then to worry. Sign number 5, unusual skin changes. Have you ever noticed your skin becoming pale, or even turning slightly purple on the tips of your fingers and toes? I used to think it was just the cold weather, but no, the doctor's advice said it's a sign that your blood circulation is not strong enough. Your skin is the clearest reflection of your blood vessels. I remember an old lady in my neighborhood. Her legs were always patchy, some pale, some dark. The doctor said bluntly, "That's the result of the small capillaries gradually becoming clogged." When I heard that, I suddenly shivered, because I know if blood doesn't reach the skin, will the heart, brain, and kidneys receive enough nutrients? Sign number 6, wounds that take a long time to heal. One afternoon, I was gardening and got a small cut on my shin. I thought it would be fine in a few days, but no more than a week later, the wound was still red, still oozing. That's when I began to understand blood is the transport system of immune soldiers. If blood can't reach the wound, even a small cut can become a gateway for infection. Another friend, Linda, once had a blister on her foot due to tight shoes. She was subjective, not taking good care of it. But after only a few weeks, it turned into a severe ulcer, requiring hospitalization. It's a scary reality that I don't want anyone to experience. The silent cause behind poor blood circulation. We Americans often blame old age, but the truth is that there are silent culprits. High blood pressure, a silent killer, damaging blood vessels every day. Bad cholesterol LDL sticks to the walls of blood vessels like dirt in a water pipe, gradually narrowing the path of blood flow. Diabetes, high blood sugar destroys small blood vessels, causing nerve loss. Sedentary lifestyle, sitting all day, blood pools in the legs, slowing down the flow. Cigarettes, one cigarette can constrict blood vessels for hours. I lost a close friend because of that habit. When I think back, I realize many of these things come from our daily habits, not just fate or genetics. Nutrients and herbs that support blood circulation. I'll tell you a secret that few Americans pay attention to. Many of the things we need to improve blood circulation are right in our kitchen. Garlic not only makes food smell good, but also helps blood vessels relax, reduces bad cholesterol. Ginger, this spicy spice helps blood circulation stronger, warms hands and feet. Salmon, sardines, rich in omega-3, reduces inflammation, keeps blood vessels smooth. Ginkgo biloba leaves have long been used by Europeans to increase blood flow to the brain, helping to clear memory. Cayenne pepper contains capsaicin, which stimulates blood flow. I started adding ginger to my morning tea, eating salmon at least twice a week, and I feel it clearly. My hands and feet are warmer. My mind is clearer. Small habits make a big difference. When I turned 60, I realized there is no need to change too much. Just persevere with small things. Walk after dinner for 20 minutes. Drink enough water because blood becomes thick as mud when the body is dehydrated. Put your feet up when sitting to help blood return to the heart. Avoid sitting still for too long. Stand up and stretch every 1 hour. And most importantly, learn to listen to your body. You see, sometimes just listening to an abnormally fast heartbeat or a wound that is slow to heal, you already have an early warning signal. I know, hearing all of this can make you a little nervous, but consider it a gentle reminder from your own body, Hugh. And remember, the earlier you detect it, the easier it is to reverse it. In the next section, I will tell you about the most dangerous consequences of ignoring the signs of poor blood circulation, and especially how to swim upstream, bringing your blood vessels back to a healthy, flexible state, even if you are over 60, 70 years old. Do you remember the last time you went outside on a winter morning? The cold wind blew against your face, your hands felt numb, your breath turned into white smoke in the air. For many, it was just a normal part of the weather, but for others, the cold never left. Even in the warm house, in the middle of summer, their hands and feet were as cold as ice water. And what if I told you that it could be a serious signal from your body? We have been together in the first 2 parts, exploring strange signs, from purple hands, goosebumps, to tingling in the fingertips. All of them could be related to blood vessels crying out for help. And today, in this final part, we will untangle the remaining knots, habits that need to be changed, nutrients that few people pay attention to but have miraculous powers, and finally, a new lifestyle to keep blood vessels healthy throughout old age. 1. When the heart and blood vessels age faster than your age. Did you know that there is a concept called biological age of blood vessels? It is different from the age on paper. A 65-year-old person can have healthy blood vessels like a 40-year-old, while another 45-year-old can have blood vessels as old as a 70-year-old. I remember a friend named Richard. He used to be a firefighter, strong and agile. However, after retirement, he started smoking more, drinking beer regularly and exercising less. One day, Richard complained that his feet were cold, even when he was indoors. He thought it was just old age, but when he went to the doctor, he was told that his blood vessels were equivalent to a 75-year-old person. They had narrowed, become stiffer and lost elasticity. This reminds us of a harsh truth. The real age of blood vessels is determined by daily living habits, not the number of candles on a birthday cake, too. The silent killers hidden in your meals. Let me ask you a question. What did you eat yesterday? You might name a hamburger, French fries, frozen pizza, or a fragrant donut. Delicious, convenient, but full of hidden enemies that harm blood vessels. Refined sugar. When you drink a can of sweet soda, the sugar in it causes insulin to spike, causing inflammation of blood vessels and fat deposits around the heart. Trans fats, found in fried foods, cookies, fast food, they turn flexible blood vessels into rigid tubes that are prone to blockage. Excess salt, snack cakes, canned soups, cold cuts, all cause high blood pressure, forcing the walls of blood vessels to endure daily stress. A cardiologist in Boston once said, "We don't die of old age. We die of bad meals every day." 3. Nutrients that rescue blood vessels. The good news is that the body has the ability to heal itself if we give it the right ingredients. Here are the golden nutrients that help keep hands and feet warm and protect blood vessels. Omega-3, found in salmon, sardines, flaxseed. It helps reduce inflammation, thins the blood slightly, and prevents blood clots. Magnesium, found in almonds, pumpkin seeds, spinach. helps dilate blood vessels, increases circulation. Vitamins C and E, antioxidants, prevent blood vessel walls from being damaged by free radicals. L-arginine, an amino acid found in chicken and soybeans, helps the body produce nitric oxide, a natural blood vessel dilator. Have you noticed that when you eat a meal rich in fish, vegetables, and nuts, your body feels lighter and more comfortable? That is your blood vessels smiling for the power of gentle movement. You don't have to run a marathon or lift heavy weights to keep your blood vessels healthy. In fact, for many older adults, overtraining can be counterproductive. Walk briskly for 30 minutes a day. Improves circulation, especially in your limbs. Yoga or Tai Chi helps you relax, increases circulation, and reduces stress. Light weights or resistance bands strengthens your muscles, which helps your blood flow more easily. I have a neighbor, Ellen, who is 72. She used to have cold hands and trouble sleeping because her feet were numb. But since she started walking with her friends every morning, her hands and feet have been warmer. It's not a miracle, her blood has simply started to circulate properly again. 5. Habits that seem small but decisive. In addition to eating and exercising, there are other habits that also deeply affect blood vessels. Get enough sleep. When you sleep, blood vessels are restored. Sleeping less, the body falls into a state of chronic inflammation. Keep warm. People with poor circulation should avoid keeping their hands and feet cold for too long, because low temperatures cause blood vessels to constrict. Avoid prolonged stress. Stress causes the body to secrete cortisol, causing high blood pressure. Quit smoking. This is the most important thing. Just one cigarette can immediately constrict blood vessels. A cigarette may make you feel relaxed for a few minutes, but it is stealing years from your blood vessels. 6. When to see a doctor immediately. Sometimes, the body not only whispers, but also screams for help. If you experience these signs, see a doctor right away. Stinging pain in the calf when walking that goes away when you rest. A foot wound that is slow to heal. The skin on the limbs turns blue, swollen, or is unusually cold. An unexplained numbness that lasts for a long time. This could be a sign of peripheral artery disease, a small stroke, or other dangerous cardiovascular complications. Don't ignore it, because early intervention can save lives. 7. The final journey, choosing how to live. In the end, it all comes back to one big question. How do you want to live in the next 20 years? Do you want to sit on the porch on an autumn afternoon, sipping a cup of hot tea, your hands still warm, your heart still beating steadily, and you still have enough strength to hold the hand of the person you love? Or will you let the cold numbness and purple hands become a reminder that you missed the opportunity to take care of yourself? The answer lies in the choices you make every day, in every meal, every step, every sleep. 8. Final message. If you have heard this far, I believe that you do not just want to keep your hands and feet warm. You want to keep your heart and your life warm. Remember, blood vessels are the pathways that bring life to every cell. When you protect them, you are protecting yourself to live longer, healthier, and happier. 9. Call to action. Before ending, I have a message. If what I share touches you, if you think this story can help a friend, a relative, or yourself, please hit the subscribe button. We will have many more journeys, from small habits that help lower blood pressure to the secret foods that rich people often eat to live long. Don't miss it, because sometimes just a little knowledge can change your whole life.